Now for today's NDEs, we have Lynn H., who describes not only how she died, but also how she made a conscious decision to return from the afterlife. Let's get into it. I gave birth after a long labor. I kept saying the head was too big, but they said the baby is small, so I should be able to push her out. Eventually, after 11 hours of labor, they decided to do a small cut. The baby shot out like a bullet, and I tore. She was nearly 8 pounds, and her head was huge. They sent my husband home after he held the baby. They sewed me up, and then tried to sit me up. I passed out. I was in so much pain in my kidneys and was totally exhausted. It was a hard pregnancy because I couldn't keep food or drink down. I weighed 9 stone 4 pounds when I felt pregnant, and weighed 9 stone 8 pounds at 9 months. They wouldn't listen to how ill I was. I felt when the baby arrived that she took all my blood with her. I also since learned that the method of birth is very dangerous and is called jet stream birth, when the baby shoots out without coming in stages. When I collapsed, I decided to slip out of my body to escape the pain. I knew I wasn't allowed to go out all the way, just enough to get out of pain. I slid upwards so my soul body was sitting, i.e. my head was above the bed, but my legs were still in my body. I watched as the nurse shouted that there was no mask on the oxygen. They went running out looking for a mask. Then, before I knew it, there were loads of people in the room. I had been slowly creeping further and further out, knowing that if I left altogether, my cord would break, and I would not be able to get back. I just knew everything like this. It was as if I knew everything there was to know. I watched as they pumped my heart. They brought blood in to defrost on the radiators. A junior doctor was pacing the room, just turning the pages of my notes. He didn't have time to read anything. He just kept turning pages. Someone was calling out my blood pressure, which kept dropping. I just wanted to leave my body, so I crept out further. I saw them bring in a portable X-ray machine. They mentioned pulmonary embolism. They took urine by catheter. An older doctor came in and asked for the urine. The nurse said she threw it away. He went ballistic, saying how was he to test it if she threw it away. It was pandemonium. I decided to go. I didn't want to stay anymore. I floated upwards. I felt I was floating up a tunnel or beam, like to a spaceship, but it was all foggy and gray. I couldn't see what was behind me because I was floating backwards along this tunnel, like the one going to a plane. It was going upwards at an angle of about 70 degrees. I felt a pressure at the back of my spirit head, as if I was being stopped from going any further. I heard the voice, which I assumed was God, asking if I was sure about my decision to leave. When you are out of your body, you are pure love, and only make decisions with the purest intentions. You are totally unselfish. I was asked to think about what would happen if I left now. I saw a scene of my daughter being brought up by her grandparents, with my husband paying the odd visit now and again. She was brought up very strictly and was deeply unhappy, nervous, and frightened. I then compared it to how I would bring her up and had to make the decision to go back. I got what sounded like a round of applause from angels. It was as if their wings were beating to make the clapping sounds. I knew I had made the correct decision and that these beings were really proud of me. I so didn't want to go back to the pain and negativity that a human body holds. I was doing it purely for love of my daughter. Then I was literally rushed back to my body. It is an experience I will never forget. It was awful. It felt as if I could not fit into the body. It was like trying to push something large and soft into a small metal casket. The pain was back, and I was overwhelmed with claustrophobia and deep despair and negativity. As soon as I was back, I regretted my decision. I was now thinking like an earth person, only of myself. I so wanted to leave again and get out of this horrible body. I hated it. Every minute of every day since that time, 33 years, I have regretted my decision and wished I had not come back. Now my daughter is grown up and happy, and my husband has left. The children have left home, and my depression is worse. I pray every night to be taken home, but I keep waking up on this hell. I knew when I was out of my body that I could have gone to heaven. I chose to come back to hell, earth, and carry on here. Hell is here. Either you die, go to heaven, and progress, or you are sent back to hell to learn your lessons. I felt as if I would have been allowed to stay in heaven if I had not chosen to return. After I recovered enough to speak, 2 days later, I told my family what happened. I got nods and smiles, but it was obvious no one believed me. My husband was the biggest skeptic. He just did not believe any of it. When the doctor came to see me, and I asked what happened, he said I had lost some blood, and they had to give me a transfusion, but everything is fine now. He didn't mention any of what happened that I saw. No one mentioned the jet stream birth. No one mentioned my heart stopping. I feel very bitter that if I hadn't seen what I saw with my own eyes, I would be none the wiser. I have not had a good day of health from that day onwards. I have heart and lung problems and osteoarthritis now and can't get about much. I so wish I was back with the angels, aliens, whatever they were. A couple of years later, 1979, I saw a program on TV about NDE. I shouted to my husband to watch it. I said, "That's what happened to me." He looked at me with such a look and then started asking me questions. I think he believes me now, but he never mentions it. I don't care who does or doesn't believe me. However, I cannot say it has been a positive experience in my life, although it has made me more spiritual. I know we change bodies when we die or planets. I believe in angels, aliens, and other dimensions. I know when things are right and when they are wrong. I wish I had a purpose in life. I feel as if giving birth was my purpose, but now that is done, I want to leave.